Hello, everyone, and welcome to part three of our first round mock draft here for Inside the Birds. I am Adam Caplan, and what I'm going to do today is we'll go over quickly the first two rounds, the first 21 picks, which were two shows. Then today we will add picks 22 through 32. There's some big ones. The world champs are picking Eagles, the Chiefs, the runners up. I know my friends at A10 WHB in Kansas City, they want to hear the pick. And we've got a lot of good teams that still have to pick here in our mock draft. So we're going to get started right here and give you the first 21. We got Cam Ward going to the Titans. This one was easy for me. I turned the card in quickly. They need a quarterback. They need to get one. When you don't have one, when you don't have the future quarterback, you need to get one. Cam Ward is that guy. We took the best player on the board for the Browns. It's not a current need, but down the line it sure is. Abdul Carter is the best player on the board. We took him here at number 2. This is where there's some intrigue. I'm sure the value would be better if the Giants get Shedeur Sanders by trading down. Not always easy to trade down. You got to have teams that want to trade up. But for this iteration of this mock draft, we're going to go with Shedeur Sanders with the Giants, who need a quarterback for sure, for now and for the future. At number 3, the Patriots. This is just the best player on the board. They've got a lot of cap space, but the big thing is they need big time talent, particularly on defense and on the offensive line. The best player on the board is Travis Hunter, the corner. Yes, he could play receiver, but he'll play corner for the Patriots and other teams that would draft him. Out of Colorado. At number 5, we've got Mason Graham to a Jaguars defense that needs interior defensive linemen. We got Mason Graham, the Michigan defensive tackle, going to the Jaguars at 5. Raiders. This one's going to be fascinating because they've got a lot of needs. Obviously, quarterback for the future. There isn't one right here in this mock draft. Cornerback, not yet. Running back, yes. Gentry, it's a little early for him. They need receivers, yes. We're going to get to that in a minute. D tackle and edge. McMillan, the receiver from University of Arizona, is that guy. He is the top-rated receiver for this draft. Just depends on how teams see him. Is he a top 10 pick or not? We'll find that out. I'll start getting more information at the combine this week. But we've got McMillan, the receiver from University of Arizona, the 6th pick overall to the Raiders. The Jets, Tyler Warren, the best player on the board. Again, you're just taking positions of need for the current situation, but more for the future. You just take the best player on the board, and it's Tyler Warren for the Jets. We know Panthers fans are dying for edge rushers. We're going to get one here. And Michael Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, he goes at number 8. That fills a major need for now and for the future. At 9, the Saints, Jalen Walker, who could play multiple positions inside backer, edge rusher. Very talented player. He will go to the Saints at number 9. 10, a guy that I know some fans think this is too early. I don't agree with this. Mike Green, the edge rusher from Marshall. I don't care that he went to a smaller school. Really talented player, edge rusher out of Marshall, who was a Senior Bowl participant. Very talented kid, who a lot of scouts are high on. It's a need pick. I know they need offensive linemen, but this is the best player on the board. At 11, this is where the discussion has got to be heavy for the Niners at the tackle and corner. They need receivers, but it's not a dire need as is corner. Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, is going to go to 11 for the Niners. Number 12, one of the upside guys for this draft, very talented guy who should go in the upper half to a team that's got massive needs, particularly on defense. That's the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to go with Walter Nolan, the D tackle of Mississippi. At 13, another Michigan player for a Dolphin team that's got a need at defensive tackle. That's Kenneth Grant, the D tackle of Michigan. Now it gets interesting because, as I said on our when I made this pick originally, when is the last time Chris Ballard's got a good tight end? He's had a bunch of mediocre tight ends. There's certain positions that Ballard drafts really well. There's certain that, well, he could do better. And this is one, tight end position. Colston Loveland, the Michigan tight end. I feel strongly he goes to the top 20. I know it's a little odd to have 2 tight ends go this early, but he's going early. He's a very talented football player. Do not blame him for the stats. The tape's better. Colston Loveland goes to the Colts at number 14. 15, this is another team in the NFC South that is in dire need of edge rush help. Nick Scorton, the edge rusher from Texas A&M, goes to the Falcons. At 16, another team that needs a edge rusher, Shamar Stewart. Scorton's teammate at Texas A&M goes to 16 to the Jonathan Gannon-led Cardinals. They get an edge rusher badly. The Bengals, they have a lot of needs, 6 or 7 of them. We took the best player on the board Derek Harmon, who will go in the first round, probably the second half, the D tackle out of Oregon. 18, a guy who's a Senior Bowl guy who's going to go, I would say, somewhere between 16 and 25. I'll be interested to see how teams see Gray Zabel, who could play tackle or guard. We've got him as a guard to the guard needy Seattle Seahawks at number 18, 19. They need edge rushers, the Bucks do. They need corners. They could use a guard and an inside backer. The best player on the board is Jahdae Barron, the corner from Texas, at number 20. This is a team that needs to solve the running back issue that they have. They can never settle on anyone. It's going to be Ashton Genty, the running back out of Boise for the Denver Broncos at 20. Number 21, one of my favorite receivers for the draft, Luther Burden, the receiver out of Missouri, will go to the Steelers at 21. He will be a first-day starter. Those are the top 21. In a minute, we're going to do picks 22 through 32. But first, I want to tell you about my friends at Stretch Zone. I saw my friend Austin at the location in Exton, Pennsylvania, for those of you who live in New Jersey or Philadelphia or Delaware. And I got to tell you, I had 2 doubles matches for tennis over the weekend. Could not have played as well as I did without getting stretched by Austin, who's a stretching practitioner. I go to a lot of their local locations. Sometimes I go to the Chester County one, sometimes Montgomery County, but I saw Austin, who was phenomenal. Got my hamstrings. Traps for you pickleball players, folks. Traps. I'm a righty. Up here. Outer arm. Shoulder. Get them stretched for pickleballers or tennis. I would highly recommend that. Get your backs, get your rotator cuffs, because I got my rotator cuffs get strained. I had them get done. You know what actually I had done sometimes? I got my fingers done. Not cracked, but they stretch them because they need them. So you could sign up at Stretch Zone if you want to go, and I highly recommend it. I do 30 minutes twice a week. You can go to stretchzone.com, sign up for your free 30-minute stretch like I did 4 years ago. I'm on now year 4 with Stretch Zone. You could sign up online, you can call your local location, or you could go in person, like I did for my first one. Then what I did is once you become a member, you sign up through the portal. You could do it. It takes literally 30 seconds once you become a member to sign up. Very simple. I'm so glad I did it, and I would not play tennis without going to Stretch Zone or travel as I am to Indianapolis this week. All right, let's get back to it, folks. Let's get to 22. The Chargers, their current and future needs are edge rush. They're older. The tackle, they're late. Asante Samuel Jr.'s up. Running back, yes, I know it's a consideration. Gus Edwards is the only quasi-starter under contract. They need a center, inside backer. They need an athletic tight end. Josh Palmer's up. They need a receiver. But to me, the best player on the board at a position of current and future need is James Pierce, the edge rusher out of Tennessee. Let's put it this way. He's not the best player on the board, but he fits what they need. There are 2 other guys who are offensive linemen who won't go past these next 2 picks, which I'm going to get to. But that's where James Pierce is going. This is a great pick for the Chargers, who are very old at edge rush. 23. I know offensive tackle is not a need, but Kelvin Banks. Now, see, the reason why, look, he could go in the top 10 or he can drop. What's he going to measure this week at the Combine? That matters. I know he was an outstanding tackle at Texas, the best tackle for this draft, but he might be 6'4". How do teams see him? So if you're worried about the length, then he's going to drop. I know this is probably a little bit further than he should go. I get it. Some people won't agree with it, and that's fine. But I don't care. Look, this guy's such great value. The Packers don't really have a need, although they could start him at left tackle over Rasheed Walker, which would be an upgrade. So he will go here. This is a great value for the Packers. At 24, no, the Vikings don't need a tackle, but they need a running back at a corner. I don't have a corner of a great value here. Marion Hampton is a terrific running back of UNC. He goes here for the running back needy Minnesota Vikings at 25. Their offensive line, they've spent resources. It's still a problem. Guard is an absolute need. Tackle, right tackle, whether they go with Fisher now is the question. I think most people would think they would. It was a second rounder, but they didn't expect Will Campbell to be here, who certainly should not be going this late in a real draft. It's a mock draft. Yes, he's here. It's a mock draft. When we do the second one, heck, I could have him go in the top 15, but he's here. This is a 5-second turn your card in by the Texans. And Nick Cassier is like, we're taking this guy. This is a great pick for them. Will Campbell, the tackle out of LSU, figured out where we want to line him up. But next for the Rams, who are very light at receiver, we know they're going to move on from Cooper Kupp, and with the injuries to Puka Nacua, and they want to run a lot of 11 personnel. They're very light at receiver. Emeka Ibuka is the receiver here. He's the best player on the board for them, and this is a great pick for the Rams at 26. Number 27. This one's fascinating because they have a depth issue at receiver, but they don't need one. They don't need to draft one here. They need a guard. They need a left tackle. Ronnie Stanley's up. They need edge depth, rotation, and he could use another safety. This is a great value for Josh Simmons. He should go anywhere in the second half of the first round. Josh Simmons will play either tackle or guard from Ohio State. I like this one at 27. For those Texans, for those Ravens, the Lions, this is another team that has some needs. Guard, they're older there, and they have an opening. Edge rush, you saw all of the injuries. They didn't have good depth. Corner, they didn't have good. They thought they had good enough depth, but it got destroyed. Carlton Davis, by the way, the veteran corner, his contract's up. D tackle's a need, and wide receivers a need just for depth purposes. We're going to go with a guard here, Armand Membu, the guard tackle from Missouri. We like him. This is a good value here, 28 for the Lions, who should have made it to the Super Bowl, or at least challenged the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl. They didn't. Too many injuries. The Commandos, boy, they got a lot of needs. Receiver, edge, left tackle, and I'll get to that in a second. Corner and middle linebacker, Bobby Wagner's up. I'm looking at Matthew Golden here, but man, here's the thing: for a value, the left tackle position's got better value when you build your value board. That's what the late great Gil Brandt told me early in my career in the early 2000s. And Golden here, Matthew Golden, the receiver out of Texas, is a big consideration. But I'd rather, if I'm running the Commanders, or if I work for Adam Peters, I'm saying, Peters, AP, we need a left tackle. Let's move Brandon Coleman into guard. It'll make our line better. And so we're going to go with Josh Connerly, left tackle out of Oregon, and number 29 for the Commandos. Now they could continue to build their offensive line. They'll get a receiver in the second round. The Bills, they are wide receiver needy. They need edge rush help, corner, safety, and D tackle. Matthew Golden, the best player in the board at a position of need for now and the future. There's no question about that. They've got to get better receivers. This guy's a good football player. At number 30 to the Bills. At number 31 for my friends in Kansas City and WHB. Yes, receivers a need. D tackle is a clear need for the future. Chris Jones is getting up there anyway. Left tackle, I know they had. Look, I'm thinking here that I'm trusting Andy Heck and that staff to get Sumatea, who they drafted last year. I know he got benched. He was a second rounder. I know he's a little raw. They got to give him a chance. Joe Thuney's not a left tackle. DJ Humphries is not. Wanye Morris didn't work. I don't have a left tackle that would be right here. I don't see it for right now. But when I look at the Chiefs, you could look at a receiver here. Edge rush, yes. But D tackle, if you really look at their D tackle position, Nadi's up, Pennell's up, Treshawn Wharton, who's been a good story, by the way, as an undrafted free agent on 2020. He's up. We're going to go small school route. We're going to go to those Rockets and the MAC. The Eagles drafted Quinyon Mitchell out of that school, and he turned out to be a stud. And we're going to stay there. We're going to go with Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle out of Toledo. For the runners-up for the Super Bowl and for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, edge rush help. An Eagle fan knows that. D tackle, yes, they're going to be light there if Milton Williams walks, which is probably realistic at this point. Inside backer, yes, they have a depth issue. There's no doubt. Corner, see, it depends where they're going to play Cooper DeJean, because there's a corner I would consider here, but the problem is I don't know what they're going to do with DeJean yet, if they're going to keep as nickel or as an outside corner. Running back is not a need per se, but if Kenny Gainwell walks, they'll need someone who can block, but they don't need to get anyone early. So we're going to go with a guy who absolutely blew it up. What a season he had at Boston College. That's the edge rusher. He's a little bit undersized. That's a little bit of concern because of Nolan Smith at the other side. But Donovan Azirku, the edge rusher from Boston College, DE, who blew it up this past season with 16.5 sacks. You just have to understand how good this kid was this season. I know it's a 1-year situation. I get that, but the tape is good. The Eagles could go for D tackle here, but we're going to go with the edge rusher, Aziraku, the edge rusher from Boston College. All right, 21, 22 through 32 for the Chargers. James Pierce, edge rusher out of Tennessee. 23 because he's there. Kelvin Banks, great value for the Packers. Continue to build that offensive line out of Texas. Vikings are Marion Hampton, the running back out of UNC. Texans, because this is an incredible value. I know he should go much earlier for you draftniks out there. I get it. That's Will Campbell, the offensive tackle out of LSU. For the offensive line needy Texans, I don't know what it is with them. They keep drafting guys and they're still not good enough. The Rams, Ibuka, the receiver from Ohio State. 27, the Ravens, Josh Simmons, the offensive lineman from Ohio State. Lions, Mabu, the guard from Missouri. That's a need for them. No question about current need for sure and for the future. The Commanders, they can go for receiver or left tackle here. We're going to go with left tackle, move Brandon Coleman into guard. It's Josh Carnley, the left tackle from Oregon. I'll learn more about that in future weeks. 30, Buffalo, Matthew Golden, the receiver for the Bills, who are dire need of receivers for now and for the future. Kansas City, my sleeper pick, Darius Alexander, D tackle of Toledo. And for the Eagles, we've got Ziraku, or Ziraku. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Ziraku could be. I'll find out this week if maybe I talk to him when the players are getting interviewed here in front of the media. For the Eagles, who solves a need for the future and for now as an edge rusher. All right, folks, check us out. All of our great content at InsideTheBirds.com. We thank our friends at Stretch Zone for sponsoring this mock draft, and we'll speak to you soon.